What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of the One Leg Loser podcast. I'm your boy Bear Down Rick, alongside my boy Jay, the producer. Guys, welcome to Championship Week. I'm dressed like a champion today, and my boy producer over there, just like DJ Khaled. Uh, what's
Hey,
up, Jay?
John,
What's going on, brother? How's it going?
I'm chilling. I'm more concerned about how you feeling, Ben Johnson.
Yes, I had to dress up today because I am Mr. Ben Johnson. This is gonna be a long road ahead of us. No, I'm just playing with y'all. But no, here, welcome to the podcast, guys. Listen, yeah, Ben Johnson to the Bears.
I
Right?
remember I remember you telling me you were a little on the fence about Buddy and shit.
Listen, I had to sit back and again, I'm not changing my tune completely, but I
Mhm.
again I am gonna open up my brain. I want to be open to different conversations. So I know I mentioned before I compared him to like the Matt Nagy, hire, but I really had to sit back and really think about this and hearing just other people with higher level IQ of NFLness. Is that a word, NFLness? I don't know. I just made that
It's
shit
a
up,
word
dude.
now. Right here
That's
on one leg.
that's just going in the dictionary now. Now moving forward, but Matt Nagy called four games under Andy Reid. Ben Johnson has been with the Detroit Lions from the floor level when they were trash. And year by year, as Ben Johnson was calling plays, the Lions got better. So I have to look at Ben Johnson and give him his respect as to
They,
what he
they,
did in
they also
Detroit.
collected some amazing talent.
Well, listen, of course, and that's any place. I mean, look at if Andy Reid didn't have, and I'm not comparing Ben Johnson to Andy Reid or anybody, but if Andy Reid didn't have his Patrick Mahomes, if Don Shula didn't have his Dan Marino, if Bill Walsh didn't have his Joe
I mean,
Montana.
I don't know, Patrick. Andy Reid has been to playoffs. He's won a playoffs game with Alex Smith. You know, I know Donovan McNabb. I know I'm dating myself, but Donovan McNabb was no slouch, but he's
No,
not
he
Patrick.
wasn't.
They went to the Super Bowl.
But but
It
but
just
what was
really,
but what was Andy's biggest thing before he got to the Chiefs? Is he never really got over the hump.
yeah, he couldn't get over the hump. He couldn't get over the hump.
So
Yeah.
everybody was kind of holding him to that. And then when Patrick came and you got Kelsey and you had the Cheetah and you had all these guys, they built something. Again, I'm not crowning Ben Johnson shit in the sense of that he's gonna be great. I just have to be open-minded, optimistic that he's gonna bring a culture to this team. And how he said it, he says, "I'm not bringing Detroit's playbook anymore. I'm throwing that out. I'm tearing it down, and I'm gonna build my offense around Caleb Williams and the pieces that we have around us." And I love that because it's not just he's not trying to fit somebody into a mold. Again, it's a press conference. That's what he's saying now. Now you got to go out there and prove it in training camp, and it's got to be shown on the field. But am I happy with this hire? Yes. Why am I happy with the hire? Because everybody and their mother wanted this guy, and my franchise went out there, opened their fucking checkbook, and made it happen. You're
Yeah.
telling me they went up against Tom Brady. Tom Brady was in his ear, but he said, "This is where I wanted to be." So
Got you. Got you.
I have to give kudos to that.
Yeah.
Um,
Listen, man,
and
from the outside looking in, I mean, I've been
we'll
down this
see.
road before. A lot of teams
Yeah,
go down the same path. Let's hire
100%.
let's hire the hot OC. Let's hire the hot DC. Forgetting what these teams have. Now you telling me you're a hot OC and you got Tennessee, so that's different. But when your team is stacked, I mean, Gibbs, Monty, we all know what kind of offense they possess. And,
Mhm.
I'm not taking nothing away from Ben Johnson because he
Yeah.
had to sit there and call the plays. He had to dice the shit up. He had to figure it out in his mind what this player does best, what this player does best.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a little easier when you have that kind of
Oh,
talent.
a
So
100%.
listen, hopefully for you guys, for you and the Bills and Caleb, he is what he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
This high powered dude and high powered offense. And I mean, you guys got no slouch either. He just needs to bring it out.
That's the
He
thing.
needs to bring it out.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
has to bring this out. He has to put it together. he has to hold these guys
Oh,
accountable, and that's what it's about.
it's not like he's taking over again the Titans. I'm sorry, Titans fan, but you often suck.
I don't know if we got any Titans fans listening to us, but yeah, this is that.
If I'm shitting on your team, but we all know it's true. Anywho,
Yeah.
you guys have the pieces. He just needs to put the puzzle together.
100%.
He needs to go inside Kato's mind and put that shit together. And Dunze and Moore, still super young, and Allen. You got the power, you got the pieces, and I can just imagine what you guys are gonna do in free agency with the type of money you guys have.
Oh yeah, listen, this is there's no secrets here to what needs to be done. The trenches are the number one. Give me the best offensive tackle, offensive guard, free agent. Fucking pay the man. I don't care. And I think they understand this is where they need to be. But no, you're completely right. It's him putting the puzzle together at this particular point. But I wanted to ask this question: who was the last hotshot offensive coordinator that comes to your mind that was higher? What was the flavor of the
Daniels.
So Mike, give me a little bit. I don't know Mike McDaniel's complete story. So he was with San Francisco prior to coming to you guys, or where was he at?
He bounced around, running back coordinator, and he was a little nerd, just soaking up all the knowledge. He made his name over there in San Francisco as the running back coordinator. That's where they had the best running attack in the league with Mostert and all them boys and yada yada yada. So he was a hot commodity. We snatched him up. Just like every team, again, just like every team does. I want the hot commodity dude, and we snatched him up. And listen, he balled out for the first few years. He was going crazy, But then the league started figuring him out. He digressed big time. His play calling was up, and it was all over the place. It wasn't when we were scoring 72 points on the Broncos or leading the league in passing and this and that in offense. It's once they figured him out, he can't figure it out.
Well, can I ask this question though then? So it sounds like from what I hear you saying is that he wasn't calling the plays in San Francisco because it was Shanahan, right?
Oh, Shanahan calls all the plays over there.
Okay, so Mike McDaniels came out and was calling the plays, and now you're saying that the NFL's kind of figured him out. I think the only difference with what Ben Johnson is he's been calling plays for the last 3 years. So each year he's been getting better. Again, like you said, there's a stack offense over there in Detroit, which is completely valid. So again, all I'm saying is I'm not saying he's better than McDaniels. I'm just comparing. I'm just looking at both of those individuals.
Yeah,
one was
I know what you were going at. One was a calling plays, one wasn't. But he came in the league, bro. Mike McDaniels was that dude. He was
like I said, dude. It was you guys were high powered, number one, flying around for that first 2 years, right? Moving the whole ball around.
It also sucks when you lose your number one, your QB, and there's a lot of injuries here and there, and it's just 100%. A team. It's so. This year I'm a little down on McDaniels, but I know start September I'm gonna be right behind my man. Just come on, let's
have to. You're gonna. It's you are a diehard fan, so you're gonna.
He does have to tighten up, though. He does have to tighten up. He needs to know when to run the ball, when to throw the ball. Like it's easy as that might sound. Like after the 15, the first 15 they're scripted. It's like, bro, man,
You know the word that I like to use for these guys is that they have to adjust and evolve. Like you can't be one guy the whole time, and that's what not trying to cry. Again, what I really enjoyed him saying is I'm throwing the playbook from what we did in Detroit. Detroit and Chicago are two separate places. I can't use the same playbook. I gotta pivot. I gotta change. And like you said, that's what you're hoping for McDaniels, to him to grow. Now, is the Cheetah coming back? Is he gonna be around? What are you hoping this offseason?
He has no choice but to come back. He's got a massive cap hit. Unless we're gonna do some Russell Wilson shit and take $34 million under the cap hit, he ain't going nowhere, man. He needs to shut his mouth and play football because he's not going nowhere. Again, other things. I mean, crazier things have happened.
Yeah.
I mean, could we trade him? I mean, ultimately it would be a huge hit on our cap, and we're already I think the fourth team with the under the cap. Like we're under the cap at like 12 million, I think. So taking a $35 million hit makes absolutely no sense. So he's back for at least a minimum of another year.
One more season, right?
One more season. And then after that, I believe we can get out of the contract with a slightly lower hit, or maybe just get out of the contract altogether. But he ain't going nowhere, man. He can keep talking all he wants. He ain't going nowhere. Okay, but I would like for him to go because now his attitude's changed now. Now,
does it become a cancer to the club? Does it become a cancer?
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, bro, when you're winning, everybody's happy go lucky. But 100%. Your true color come out when you start losing and when the adversity hits, and when you're not getting catches or passes thrown your way because your number one quarterback decides he wants to be a linebacker and take these hits and then get concussions because he's an idiot. I would be frustrated too, but there's a time and place for that. Yeah. And it's not in front of the media when there's a microphone and a camera in front of you. It's in the locker room, one-on-ones.
Listen, that's a great question. I want to change the topic here, not to go too far off, but let's talk about that for a second. I remember growing up, and again, we're dating ourselves here, right? Even when we were growing up, these sports figures, their main role was to play sports. Players weren't making podcasts. Players weren't on radio. You could even go as far as saying politically, most players were very just neutral. There wasn't like politics involved in any of these conversations. Their job was to go out there and play ball, and that's what they did for the most part, excluding your Jim Browns and guys like that. I guess the point that I'm making is, do you feel like players are getting too empowered at this point, and do you see it getting even worse? I don't want to say the word worse, but where do you see it going with these players and them speaking their mind out, especially when they're not happy or certain things come up? Where do you think this is going? And
listen, bro. Whether you're a football player, you're a doctor, you're a golfer, you're a fucking scientist, no matter who you are on this planet, you deserve a chance to speak your mind. You want to jump on a podcast? That's your prerogative. You can do whatever you want. Now, is it right? Now, is it the right thing to do for your teammates, for your coach, for your wide receivers coach, for the entire team? Is that the place and time to do it? Absolutely not. You can go in there, you can talk, shoot the shit with your boys and yada yada yada, but you're a grown ass man. Most of them are grown ass men who they got to understand what they're doing and why they truly on these podcasts. These podcasts are trying to get any little hit from you, any little viral clip, so they can go viral. You see what I'm saying? Listen, Tyreek he should be one of our leaders. He's one of our captains.
Yeah.
So he should act like it, not going on Twitter sending these subliminal messages, because the young kids, they pick up on that shit. His younger teammates, and they think this is the right thing to do. Bro, you got a problem? You got when McDaniel's not giving you ball, pull him aside. Coach, man, what's up, man? Go into his office. What's up? We should never hear about those things. And then when there's always a fire, when there was a flame, there's fire.
100%, right?
When there's smoke, there's fire.
When there's smoke, there's fire, right? That's the right frame, right? Yeah.
But so these little things of smoke, and it's going to blow up one day. And ultimately, like I said, it shouldn't be done through the media. Put your coach aside, man. Put your players aside. That shit that AJ Brown did, that shit's not cool. That's you. I wouldn't say he quit on the team, but it's like, damn, it looked like you quit. You're not even paying attention to the game. If they're on offense, if you're on defense. I mean, I'm sure he knew, but you're sitting there reading a book. How ridiculous is that, bro? Let do that shit and Bill Belichick's team and see what the hell you're gonna be the next game, or that same game. Like reading a book. Get out of here, bro. That's nuts, bro. I don't know if that makes me old school, but that's freaking nuts.
No, I think that like you said, it's there's time and places for certain conversations. And I mean, I watch a lot of the NFL guys, and I see them make their podcasts even in season. Like even my tight end Cole Kmet, he has a podcast on a platform where he comes on every week. And again, he great. Listen, I think as fans, like we've always wanted to be a fly on the wall. We always want to know we're such in a space of information that we want to know even more. We want to get more in depth. I mean, back in the 90s, it was like all nostalgia. There wasn't a lot of like coverage. There wasn't a lot of, even back in the 80s, it wasn't just a lot of information. It was more nostalgia. Now everything is pumped out to us, right? So everything is available to us. And as fans, I think we're part of the issue, not part of the issue, but we're part of the equation there, because we want to know more. We want to hear more. We want to know more about our team, about our players, what's going behind the scenes. So I think there's a lot of driving forces, but I wanted to get your take and see what you felt. And I kind of agree with you. I'm more of an old school, like, hey, that should be in the locker room between you guys. That should be held between you and your coach. Um, Again, your
I should
grievances.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I shouldn't know your grievances, man. It's like a marriage.
yeah,
You know, every marriage fights, every couple fights.
yeah,
There's always gonna be an argument about, even if it's the
100%.
smallest shit. But there's always gonna be an argument. There's gonna be confrontation. There's always gonna be all that in a marriage.
Yeah,
No one else should know besides you and your wife or your husband
yeah,
in the room. That's it.
100%.
The kids
Yeah,
should know.
yeah.
So and it's the same thing, because that shit is going to blow up little by little. Because Tyreek is, like I said, he's a captain. He has a big influence on that team. So
Yeah.
you start chirping, you start chirping, you start chirping. All these players start like, damn man, he might be right. Oh man, that's Reek though, man.
Yeah, you influence. You
You
don't
know,
understand the reach. Yeah.
yeah, he influences these people, man. These players, especially the young ones, which I don't want. So it
Mhm.
might be time for him to go. We'll
It
see.
might
We'll
be.
see what happens.
We'll see what happens, man. But I just wanted to kind of get your take on that. And let's move on before we move on from these coaches, the hiring, let's talk about a little bit about Aaron Glenn. He's going to the Jets. I know on the last podcast you were not so hot on Aaron Glenn. But I
What have he
mean,
done?
no, I'm not I'm just reiterating what your take was. What did you feel, or how do you feel about him going to the Jets? What is your take?
I ain't worried about him. I'm not worried about him. He ain't got no quarterback.
Mm.
He again. What did Eric Glenn? What has he done?
Oh
Maybe
wow.
I haven't followed his career closely enough.
Hmm.
All I know is when last year with the Detroit Lions, I know people gonna throw me all type of stats and this and that, blah blah, and injuries. At the end of the day, what he do, man? You got a rookie hung up 45 on your head. Let Jane Downs. I mean, and Jane Downs spectacular. This dude might be in the Super Bowl running within the next few years. He's that good, you know.
Potentially, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, essentially,
yeah.
he has that.
But okay, so I'll circle back to something of that. But so yeah, what has he really done? He's going to the Jets, who are a complete disarray. I mean, there's no structure there. There's nothing. You're going into a war zone basically,
The only
and
thing, yeah,
everything.
the only thing he has
And
he can hang his hat on is the defense. When healthy, they're a decent bunch.
yeah,
But I don't think Sauce Gardner's that dude. Like they talk about Sauce Gardner like he's like the next Revis Island. First of all, no one's Revis Island or Primetime. That's a debate for another day.
yeah,
But like Sauce ain't that dude, man. Go back and look at his stats. He's probably he leads the league in holding. I'm pretty sure. Like he's not that good. But they got a decent line. They got that Quentin Williams kid. They're okay. But also maybe that was a lot of Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh was a nice coach.
he
And
definitely
was
was.
a friend. So maybe it's like almost you guys in a way, right? Where you lost you fired your guy Eberflus, and all of a sudden your defense just went to shit. Because in
Yeah.
the beginning, I thought it was playing pretty good.
Yeah, it was a very formidable defense. It was in the top 10 defense. It was very affordable. But again, that's why I think some people are meant. Listen, if it not everybody's meant to be a head coach.
Facts.
Some
100%.
guys they will excel and they could. Speaking of coordinators, right? Josh Daniels. Now he's gonna go over there to New England back again. He's
Really?
heading.
Oh,
Yes, he
okay.
got hired. That's Vrabel's boy. That's his guy.
Yeah.
Now McDaniels could be a coordinator. He could
Yeah.
coordinate an offense,
Yeah.
but as a fucking head coach,
Yeah.
he sucks.
Clearly. The history's there. So
It
that's
just
what
sucks.
right.
Vic Fangio could run a
Yes.
defense, but he's not a head coach.
Yeah.
If you want to even go to the college level, Chip Kelly. I've heard horror stories. I don't know if you watched if you ever heard stories about Chip and how he tried to run shit in the NFL, try to run that shit like if it was college. But look at him. Isn't he the offensive coordinator for Ohio?
No,
Was he?
what Chip Kelly is. No.
Chip Kelly?
No, I know who he is. I don't know anything about him. I don't know where he's at.
Well, I think he's the offensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was the offensive coordinator for Ohio State.
The Buckeyes.
I think he was the. But nevertheless, I mean, I guess the point that I'm making here is that some people are. Yeah, he was the offensive coordinator for Ohio State. And look how they balled out. So some guys are just meant to be coordinators, and some guys are not meant to be head coaches. And
that's what we'll find out
about both of these guys.
Both of these guys. Yeah, both of them. We'll see because I mean, I'm not saying it's easy to be OC, of course not, but it's easier to be an OC than a head coach because you just got to focus on the quarterback and your offense, 11 players, blah blah. Head coach. You literally have to worry about everything, like logistics. What time are you gonna fly out? Why? If it's a bad weather game, when should you fly out? Should you fly out? All those little things. And is he gonna call a plays? Is he gonna be calling plays?
Ben Johnson's already clarified that he is calling plays. He will hire offensive coordinator, and I think what's really important for these young head coaches is who they surround themselves with. It's your coaching. It's the people. Again, not. Go ahead.
Is he bringing the OC, the O-line coach from Detroit?
That's one of the names that are coming up. He's trying to promote him to offensive coordinator, right? Which would be which would be great for us because if that's the guy that built the offensive line in Detroit, that's the guy I want to come to my franchise to be able to help him along that path.
And I think Aaron Glenn is doing something similar. I think he's bringing I think the linebackers coach or the D-line coach. No, I think it's the D-line coach. So, it'll bring somebody that he's familiar with, he's comfortable with. So that'll help him, ease into the adjustment of becoming a head coach. And, we'll see. We'll see if I'm wrong or right at the end of the day.
Listen, this is the beginning of the Campbell tree. Believe it or not. This is the beginning of the Dan Campbell coaching tree.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see.
This is the infancy of it. You got the Shanahan tree. You got the other guy. You got all these trees, and then now we're seeing the infancy of the Dan Campbell tree.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good because no one sits back and says that, right? No one says, okay, all right, he's part of the Shanahan tree. All right, but we already knew that, right? Because it's 2020, right? I mean, it's 2020. It's hindsight's 2020. But nobody sat there and said, "Oh, this is the beginning of the Shanahan, the dad Shanahan, Mike Shanahan." Nobody said, "Oh, this is the beginning," right? Because I don't know, nobody was thinking of that. I mean,
nobody was thinking of it. But now it's becoming more of a reality. Now these coaches, you're starting to see these guys take off, and again. This is the thing. We'll see where Detroit ends up at, but I don't care about Detroit right now. We got the guy. That's it.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to the first game up in cold Philly. Talk to me.
Here we go, man. Here we got Washington, and listen, man. It's one of these games where it's. Jaden Daniels, again, I have to give kudos to not just him. I think it's also just the and this is one thing that I want to touch on really quick before we talk about the game completely. I hate people that say that a team can't go from worst to first. Washington's a prime example. Before the season started, there's nobody that's put a comment down there, or anybody's going to tell me, outside of maybe a delusional Washington Commander fan, was going to tell me that the Commanders were going to be the hot shit. Nobody could come out here and tell me that they thought that the Commanders were going to be in this far in the thing. So that's why when people tell me, oh, the team has a long way to go, regardless team of you have, listen, man, the beauty of the NFL is that I feel that it could go from worst to first quickly. And this team, the Washington Commanders, are proving that. They got Kingsbury, who I believe, again, is one of those other individuals that should remain an offensive coordinator. Shouldn't be a coach. Again, he had a disaster down in Arizona. And then you got Dan Quinn, who's an established head coach, went to a Super Bowl. And again, they just built this culture, and these guys are clicking, bro. And they're clicking in the right time. And they're going up against the veteran team, the Philadelphia Eagles, who, again, people could say they have some dysfunction over there with Mr. Home Alone. The kid from the whatever, that coach, whatever his name is. But anyways, they have that dysfunction, and they got, the quarterback. Is he healthy? Is this guy healthy? I don't know. What are your takes, man? What do you think about this game, Jose?
Listen, man, I've been thinking about this game all day long. This and the next. I've been thinking about this game all day long. Mm-hmm. And when this game was announced, obviously when this game was scheduled, right? Like, I was like, man, I'm on the Commanders. I'm on the Commanders. I like the story. I like Jaden Daniels. He'd be balling. And I just like everything about this team, right? They're gutsy. They're young, mm-hmm. but they fight. And Dan Quinn got them fighting. I just can't do it, man. I think Philly's too much. Ooh. I think Washington, they skidded by Tampa Bay. If it wasn't for Baker's mishaps and a few mishaps that he had there, they would have won that game. Daniels was Daniels. He drove them down. They won by 3. All right, they won the game. Kudos to the Commanders. And this second game against the Lions, yeah, they scored a shit ton of points on Mr. Aaron Glenn and his defense, but his defense was depleted big time. And he even lost players during that game. Mm-hmm. And they scored 45 points. But on the flip side, Detroit scored 31.
Yeah, it's not like they scored 15 or 13, right?
Right. They had 31 with 5 turnovers. Imagine if they don't turn the ball over. They have 70, 81.
Yeah.
Washington couldn't stop a nosebleed is my point.
Yeah.
So now you're coming into the best team, the best NFC team. Well, one of the best teams in the NFC because, Detroit, blah, blah, and the Vikings, blah, blah. But this is the number one defense. Washington they just lost their starting guard. And that boy Carter about to feast. They got one of the best O-line in the game, arguably the best defensive line in the game. They got the number one defense with Vic Fangio. The elements, they got the one of the top MVPs in the game. Now the only question is, what's up with Jalen Hurts' knee? That's my only concern. I can't give you guys a bet today. I just can't because it's Thursday night. I need that injury report because that flips things a little bit.
It definitely does. The tush push was out. The tush push was out the last game. You couldn't do it.
Right. A lot of things are out, and then that affects the running game because now you don't have that double threat. That dual threat of him taking off possibly on some options, right?
100%.
So I'm gonna give you my best out of this. I just can't give you a play today. I'll give you a lean. I'm leaning Philly.
Okay.
Now I got to play with the points. I might just go money line just to be safe. I think it's gonna be a low scoring game. It's gonna be snowing again. That's another thing. Washington was playing in that dome. Shit, anybody can fly in a dome. Put me in the dome. I'm faster than ever, right? but now you got to go to Philly in the snow. Philly veterans know how to do it already. Saquon ran for 200 last week. He knows how to do it. I mean, it's going to be a learning curve for these boys. And if they start off slow, I think Philadelphia gonna run away with this shit.
Listen,
Barkley gonna run away with this shit.
listen, man. You've painted a very elaborate, decisive picture of what's going to happen here. My gut tells me. Listen, again, everybody has been doubting the Commanders throughout this whole process. Nobody would have thought they got here. Nobody would even think they would be here. Again, nobody even thought they were going to beat the Lions, even though we understand, and I know you laid out very gracefully how they were lucky in certain aspects, whether it was the kick, whether it was the depleted Lions defense. But again, how we say in the NFL, you only could play who's in front of you. You could only play who's in front of you. So I can't take anything from them because they are just playing who's in front of them. And again, I think there's a key thing, like you said, Jalen Hurts. Is he going to be healthy? Is he healthy enough to be able to play this game? I think that Washington Commander front is very vicious. They know how to get to the quarterback. That they know how to disrupt some stuff. So can they, if Jalen Hurts is not his 100%, can that be the X factor? The weather is a play. Again, can I say that the Commanders are arguably going to win this one? Again, like you said, I need to think about it more. But if I were to lay something out now, I would take Commanders with the points. That's my personal opinion here, because again, they're like the Cinderella story right now. They're like the Giants that weren't going to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Can they pull the Cinderella story out and end up in the Super Bowl against another team? I don't know, but again,
it'll be nice. It'll be nice for that for them. And I'll tell you right. Well, it depends who they play, but it depends if I'm rooting for them or not. But I can see it, man. I can see it, but I also can see an ass whooping. And I'm just gonna ride. And I understand all the Cinderella stuff, and that's a valid point because it's happened before. Like history shown, I'm not everyone does it, but like there's few teams that do it and they emerge and
the momentum, right? Is it the hunger and the drive?
Right, all that good stuff. So hey, obviously they have a shot. They're here, so you have a shot. It's just, man, I'm just gonna go with the better overall team, like just top to bottom, front and back, just the better overall team. That's it.
All right, so we called the guys Philadelphia for the most part.
No, but yeah. Tune in to obviously the socials up top, and you'll see my play. And I think we're leaning on separate sides of the fence right now as far as these games. I'm obviously on Philly. You're on Washington.
Well, I'm not. Again, I'm not on technically on Washington's side. I just want to try to grab some insurance if for whatever reason this Cinderella story does play out. If let's just play this hypothetical here, so I can make sure that I'm clear to the public of where I stand. Am I going to say that Washington's going to beat Philadelphia outright and beat them by, let's say, 8 points or a field goal and a touchdown? No, I think it's going to be much of a closer game. But again, in regards to my betting, like again, I still believe Philadelphia is going to win. But if I were to take a bet, I want to take some insurance out and saying, hey, this Cinderella team that has been playing amazing throughout the stretch, what if they do pull that upset? Because nobody was really thinking that they were going to beat Detroit. Come on, guys. Let's be honest with you. Nobody's going to come out here and say that they were going to think that Detroit was going to get wiped.
That's our one leg last week.
That was it. That was the one leg loser, by the way.
4 out of 5 for a plus. What was it? Plus, forgot what it was. 600 or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Fucking Lions, bro.
It's funny you mentioned that. I saw somebody put a ticket in, again, I don't know if it's true or not, on Facebook, and he had the Commanders plus, I think, 6.5 on that game, and it won. So again, I think I might be drinking that Kool-Aid of, I still think the Eagles are going to win, but just in case, I want to take some of the points and see where it lands out at. So that's my take.
So you're basically saying they can keep it close enough.
I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's, again, unless Jaden Daniels gets hurt, it's snowing out there, and again, that's one thing that I question about Jaden Daniels is, can he stay healthy? Again, the guy's pretty thin. Again, I know Lamar Jackson is the one that's proven, but but he's already got hit. He already got hurt this year with the ribs. Can he sustain those beatings where he's at? I don't know.
No, I feel you. All right. Let's move on. Let's go to the game of the week. In my opinion,
Oh God,
the Buffalo Bills going to Arrowhead. With the Chiefs is what, 8-1 this year?
yes.
Ooh, baby, with a chance to go to the Super Bowl for the third time in a row. You want to kick it off?
Again, I'm literally right now just torn. It's like it's torn between the two children here because, again, I think either way that you paint the picture, it could be seen. You have on one side Josh Allen, presumptuously the MVP of the league, just being Superman and taking over the games, and then on the other side, you got arguably the greatest quarterback that's probably going to ever live, greatest head coach that may arguably live again, depending on how this run goes. And the tight end is just again next level. Again, you can never put these guys out. You can never caught the Chiefs out of anything. So again, this game to me is very, I don't know, man. I can't tell you. You paint the picture, Jose. You're the painter in the group. So you tell me,
man,
what's the picture that's going to be painted here?
Listen. It seems. I know you told me earlier you had a pick in mind, but everything you mentioned just now should just solidify it for you. You mentioned one thing about the Bills, which is Josh Allen, and you named 745 things about the Chiefs. Better coach, better this, better tight end, everything. Listen, man. Yes, I don't like the Buffalo Bills. That's pretty.
Let's be clear about that, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's be clear about that. But there's this guy on the other team, Patrick Mahomes, who is godly, bro. Listen, I'm gonna give you my three quarterbacks to ever play. I've ever seen throw a football. Dan Marino was the best quarterback I've ever seen throw a football. I'm talking about just from a pure athletic standpoint.
From a pure passer, yes, I hear you.
Throwing a football, and also he had the brains. He had everything. He had everything it took. He just couldn't get over the hump. His teams, blah blah blah. Anywho, after that, the next best quarterback. There was a bunch of quarterbacks that I've seen: Peyton Manning, John Elway, all these guys. Right. The next best quarterback that I've ever seen, Tom Brady. All that motherfucker do is win. And Tom Brady, trust me. But then I finally realized his greatness. And he was one of the GOATs, if not the GOAT. Well, he is the GOAT right now.
He is the GOAT right now. If you want to count rings and you want to count championship, he is the man.
Rings and how he got them there and what he did and what he did in key moments, what he did in the Super Bowls, just the man, the GOAT. Yeah. But there's this little kid over here in Kansas City who, if he wins this Super Bowl, he is the GOAT. 3-peat? Nah, and I like history. I like that shit, right? I would love to see Kansas City in the Super Bowl again. I would love Kansas City to win the Super Bowl because I love when the last time you ever seen a 3-peat? Never.
Never in NFL history, right? I don't think in NFL history there's ever been a 3-peat.
Never. Tom Brady was the last closest one.
So, but the Patriots did go to 3 straight Super Bowls and they lost. No, they never even went to straight.
They didn't make it the third one. They didn't make the third one. They won 2, and then it was a wrap. But if Patrick Mahomes pulls this shit out somehow, with Andy Reid, that is the best quarterback coach duo in the history of NFL. And I don't know who the hell is gonna beat that.
I don't know, man. Listen,
and Patrick Mahomes, 28? I think 29. Many Super Bowl opportunities left.
I mean, shit, dude, you got about maybe another 10 years. You got another 10 years of this stuff.
7 straight AFC championships? What?
It's ridiculous. They're godly. The numbers are godly. It's stupid. But I want to throw a little wrinkle into this conversation here, and what has been going on a lot in social media. And I want to get your take on this, Jose. So a lot of the social media people are saying is that, and what I've read on social media is that the Chiefs are getting a lot of special treatment from the referees. They feel that on the last game, there were a lot of calls, especially that roughing the passer hit, where clearly you could see that Patrick Mahomes wasn't really touched. Literally, the 2 defensive players were the ones that went head to head. and they call that rough in the passer. So a lot of the public is saying they're getting the Michael Jordan treatment, if you want to say. They're getting these calls that
as he
it
should.
shouldn't be getting called. What is your take about the refs in Kansas City and all the memes of the refs wearing the Kansas City uniform?
All the Michael Jordan fans wasn't crying about when he was getting all the calls. Nobody was crying about that. When LeBron gets all the calls and you're a LeBron supporter, like myself, he's the GOAT. I don't cry. I don't get mad when he gets all the calls. It's your favorite player. So the only people who get mad at these so-called calls, yes, there's been some controversial calls, are the haters, are the Patrick Mahomes haters, are the Kansas City Chiefs haters. Because funny you bring this up. I was listening to a few guys today. I wish you would have told me you would bring this up. Josh Allen, percentage-wise, gets more calls than Patrick Mahomes.
Interesting.
The Kansas City Chiefs led the league in offensive line holdings this year. But nobody talks about that. Only people talk about is the ones they see, the casuals, the ones they see. They don't know all these stats. They don't sit there and watch the games. It's just casuals just yapping. That's all it is. And yes, bro, listen, everyone gets controversial calls. Look at the tuck rule with Tom Brady. You know, it's the referees are human. And as much as I hate that, because there should be a different element of at least another element of like, yo, that call, come on, that's ridiculous. Look at it again. You know, it should be a higher, the ultimate dude saying this shit, right? But yeah, man, listen, I can see it. I can see how they feel that way.
But let me ask you this though: you mentioned Michael Jordan and LeBron James in the sport of basketball. Do you feel like the sport of football? Do you think these? Do you think that the two sports are different in the sense of when these calls are made, just like that one in when New Orleans, remember that one a couple years ago where it was clearly freaking PI. It was clearly like it was like, and it just wasn't called, and that literally decided. Again, I know it didn't decide the game. I know people are gonna say there's 4 other quarters and time, but I want to get your opinion. Do you think that football, when these calls are made, are they more critical than they would in an NBA game just because of the intricacies of the game of football?
100%. In NBA, each team gets, I don't know, 1 million possessions. You know, it's 1 million possessions, right? In the NFL, you get what? 12 possessions a game?
Yeah.
And that's a lot. You know, half the time you're fucking punting. You know, so yes, any little call, any little missed call or a call against you, a call for you can change the game just like that in an instant. So then,
no, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say. So I see how the Kansas City, it could be frustrating when they do get these calls because now on top of that, are they getting the call? But it's like in a very crucial moment, and it just seems to be helping the Chiefs. Listen, I see it too. I'm not dumb. I see it, but the statistics show something totally different from what your eyes are telling, from what you think you're seeing.
I guess, like you said, everybody's looking at it from the moment, and they're not seeing the big picture. They're just seeing, like you said, what they get in front of them, right? But you brought up a point about maybe getting the refs to be able to overturn these plays. But let me ask you this: will that take away from the game, though? Because again, it's the human element, right? And some of these plays, like you said, if you're the team that is benefiting from these calls, you ain't saying shit. You don't care if you ain't saying nothing. So if they start to automate this where it becomes very AI or whatever, or the camera's the one that tells you the story, does that take away from the element of the game, though?
Yeah, but I don't need all that. I don't need all that. Listen, humans will call the game.
Okay.
But if there's something absolutely blatant, like the PI you brought up in New Orleans, and the whole entire world sees it, they just happen to miss it. That should be challengeable. That should be reviewable. It should be a coach's challenge. Why not?
But who dictates what's like a blatant? Is it because the crowd is screaming in the stadium, or the people are pointing at the Megatron like, "Duck, it's there, it's right in front of you"? How do they determine that?
The God referee, bro. I don't know.
Oh, somebody in the sky has got to be like, "Oh, this is we got to look at this again."
Like, yo, I don't know, something, man, something. It's got whatever it is. I don't know. This ain't working. because
Okay.
whether the calls work against you or the call works for you, it ain't working. Referees should not be decide. They should not have that much power to decide a game
Mm.
and just throw a fucking flag, a fluky ass flag, because he might have money on the shit, and then that's just the
Ooh.
call. I'm not.
Accusations there. That's accusations there. Hey guys, no, we're not saying that the refs are doing that, ladies and gentlemen. We're not saying
The
that.
NBA guy, the NBA guy. Everybody
The
knows.
NBA guy, just as the only guy ever that will do that. By the way,
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to decide. You shouldn't have that much power, hey, bro. If that shit looks egregious and it looks crazy, and you didn't call it or you did call it, somebody should be like, no shot that's a holding, bro. Like, I don't know, should be something. Because again, this ain't working. They have too much power. They have way too much power.
too much power, and they get paid a lot of money, man. Do you know that most of these referees? My little side fact here, ladies and gentlemen, most of them are either like they're attorneys. They're like very highly educated individuals. These are not like your high school referee soccer coach. This is these are gentlemen that are very well paying jobs.
Right. So, but also they're part time. They're also part time. So I heard the NFL and Roger Goodell might be they're looking into hiring these referees full time. So when they're constantly studying the game and reviewing the game. I don't know, coaching college. I mean, refereeing college, refereeing this, not just to pick it up 6 months and then you just making some bogus ass calls out there.
Understandable.
You know,
That's interesting.
Truly understand the game of football and what is holding, what is not holding. You know, I think if you make them part.
Oh, what's a catch?
No, I didn't hear about any catches. They're actually going to be paid more. I didn't hear a catch, so I don't know.
Interesting. No, I said or like you said, what's holding, and I also said what's considered a catch, right? What's considered a catch?
I don't know what a catch is anymore. I don't know what a catch is anymore. I think it's a catch. Oh, it's reverse. I know it's not a catch. Oh, it is a catch. I don't know, bro.
Interesting take.
And that's my point. It shouldn't be up to judgment. And that's what it is. He's judging that the guy dropped it. He's judging that the guy caught it.
But isn't that the human element of the game, though? Isn't that the human element of the game?
Nah.
You want to take the human element out of the game?
No, not the human element. To a certain extent, yes. Now, you can't challenge every call because that's ridiculous. I mean, the game's going to last 6 hours.
Well, yeah, because everybody's going to want to charge. That's what I'm saying. But don't they already have the challenges? We already have challenges in the game. So
maybe more things should be allowed to be challenged. Listen, bro, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know, but something's got to give. Because
listen, this is an amazing topic, and again, we'll keep talking throughout the years about it because it's again right now it is a big topic, and it's not going to change anytime soon, ladies and gentlemen.
Real quick, but real quick, that's the reason why people are complaining, because it's like the referee makes a call and that's it. That's the end all be all. He made the call. Screw it. That's the call. Yeah. And that's what they're saying. All this Patrick Mahomes shit and blah blah blah. But anyways. I get it. So back to the game. Listen, man, Bills, they got a squad. Josh Allen, he's the man, clearly, right? They're gonna have to run the ball. Because I mean, you know, the Chiefs cornerbacks, McDuffie, and the other cat, I forgot his name, but he was back last week. You know, they're gonna have to run the ball. And I don't know if they're gonna be able to with Chris Jones in the middle and that Spags defense, you know, running around. Like, you know, running around like crazy. It's going to be a tough game. I'm definitely leading Chiefs. I think Patrick Mahomes is incredibly difficult to be at home. And I don't know if Josh Allen and company have enough to do it. I'm gonna put my money with the better with the better coaching staff and the better overall team, because the quarterbacks are a wash. You know, they're both greats. The quarterbacks are a wash. And I'm gonna take. Listen, Patrick Mahomes is not gonna be facing Will Allen and Danielle Hunter. There's none of that in the Bills. He ain't gonna be facing that same pressure. You know, so Von Miller, he got that fumble recovery last week because Lamar decided to drop the ball. He ain't doing shit all year long, bro. He made one play. Now people won't say Von Miller. Get the hell out of here. Von Miller.
Listen, man. I agree with you on this one. You know, the other cornerback, Snead. They got McDuffie. You know, Chris Jones. Huh? Oh, Snead's gone?
Yeah, Snead gone.
Oh, shit. Damn, my bad. Damn. My bad. I kind of went the wrong way here today. But listen again. That Kansas City defense has been not carrying the team. I don't want to use that word again, but it has been a very crucial part of this team. Like Spagnola has been around forever. Going to go down as he's going to go in the Hall of Fame eventually at some point. From been in the league for such a long period of time, so that defense has been playing very well. That squad. You got Patrick Mahomes at home. But in regards to betting, you're -2. So what is Vegas telling us? Vegas is not really giving a clear, precise picture here, right? They're kind of just calling it a wash because, like you said, both quarterbacks are, I don't want to say equal. I mean, again, listen, Allen plays great, but he hasn't won a chip. So this guy, you got it. I still think Patrick's on his own pedestal right now in the moment. But Vegas is like calling it, hey, it's a 2-point game. Can you see at any point adding any plus points to the Chiefs? I mean, to the Bills on a ticket?
Man, I don't see it because when you add points to the team, right? It just means that you like them, but you don't really like them like that. You just think they're gonna keep the game close.
So do you think this game is going to be taken over by one team, or do you think it's going to be played close?
No. I think it'll be a close game. I'm just leaning like if I put points on the Bills, that means I need the Bills to win. That means I'm rooting for the Bills, and that's not happening. So I gotta take the Chiefs. I just gotta take the Chiefs, and I'm gonna take them. I'll take them on the money line. Can this game go either way? Of course, 100%. But of course, 100%, bro. Josh Allen can go in there and whoop them, But they just like they did in the regular season. But this ain't no regular season Mahomes anymore. This ain't regular season Kelsey. You saw Kelsey all of a sudden he blew up.
Right? He was balling.
He wasn't doing shit all year long because it's week 12, week 11, week 9 don't matter to Kansas City. They're just better than you, so they're going to win the game. That's why they won 15, 14 games.
So that's crazy, right?
But it doesn't matter to them. This is what matters. And Kelsey's been saving this for this moment. And Patrick Mahomes is saying for this moment. And you're going to tell me they're one game away from the Super Bowl? They're not going to do absolutely what? Oh my God, no!
Listen, this is going to be a hell of a game. I'm more intrigued by this game. No disrespect to the Commanders and no disrespect to the Eagles, but I am very much more intrigued by this particular game because this is like literally two juggernauts. Like it's like juggernauts going up against each other. So this is the game that I want to see. This is the Rumble. This is the what's that called? The Rumble in the Jungle. This is it. This is the show. This is it right here.
But yeah, like I said, man, I'll just take the better coaching quarterback. And that's it. I mean,
right. Again, we're just discussing, guys. The ticket's not going to be complete because I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jose. Do you think we're going to throw a couple prop bets? Because we only got 2 games.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we definitely got to throw in some prop bets to make it around plus 600, probably plus 500.
So yeah. So I know, like you said, we'll be adding that eventually during the week. You'll put the ticket out once we kind of really figure that out 100%, right? Or
yeah, by Saturday morning it'll be out. It'll be on the socials, on all 3 of the socials. It'll be the pinned comment down here below. So if you want those pictures come back on Saturday morning, they'll be up there. Yeah.
And guys, if you have any ideas for the show, again, we want to continue to sow through the off season. So if you have any ideas of what you would like to hear, what would you like us to talk about? Are you intrigued by our conversations about different topics in the league? Would you like us to talk about something else? Leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys want to hear. We're here for you guys. We're here for the one-leg losers. We're here for the people.
100%. But I do want to hear, please, tuxedo. I mean, best
suit guy
or no suit guy.
Suit guy or no suit guy. Please leave a comment. Do you want the guy in the suit?
Does he sound smarter? Does he look like he's in a press conference?
Listen. I'm my boy Pat the designer. He's a podcaster. He's a podcaster for the Chicago. Well, he started as a podcast with Chicago Bears, and I got to give him his respect. The guy went from being a construction worker to fucking being working for ESPN, being at the press conference for Ben Johnson, asking Ben Johnson a question, being around Lance Briggs, being around some big name people. So I gotta give respect. And he wore a suit today, so I figured, shit, let me wear mine today and show out a little bit. But listen, bring on a suit, man. Listen, man. Again, listen, I'm excited for the show. Again, it's not over, but we want to thank everybody for tuning in this season, and we're looking for many more great seasons to come along the way. But wanted to touch a little something. I did talk to you about this earlier. Um, Nick Saban was on the pivot, and I think that was very one of, for me at least. I don't know if you were able to hear any snippets of it at all, but I found him very compelling. The guy demands a room. You could hear when this man talks that you want to hear what he says when he speaks, and he speaks a lot of wisdom. I learned a lot just listening to Nick Saban. But he mentioned something about the Dolphins, and I wanted to get your opinion since you are Mr. Dolphin, Mr. AKA Dan Marino, Mr. AKA Ricky, Mr. Williams. So he was telling the story about when. Listen, man, I'm not trying to put no salt on the on a cut here, but bro, you've had a lot of interesting people come to that organization, from Dan Campbell, from Ben Johnson, from the greatest arguably coach in college football. But he did touch on why he felt that he was better fit for the college than he was for the NFL. But
did he tell you the truth? Did he say the truth?
I think he did. I really do believe. Listen, I listened to the man's statement.
He said he can't coach grown men because
it's not that. I think what, because I think he mentioned his point of view was he wanted to impact people, and he felt that in an NFL locker room, it's a different, and it's clear you're talking about grown men with families and stuff like that. So he was like, his whole purpose is to impact people, and he felt like he felt the best impacting young men coming from 18 to 22 and teaching them not just about football, but about their growing in life.
Yeah, because they have no other choice but to listen. You don't listen to Nick Saban, you're off the team.
Well, listen, hey man, we could say that, but what we can say is the guy has given out pedigree upon pedigree about pedigree that we have enjoyed throughout the NFL. So that I can't take from him. Again, if you want to call BS or bullshit of what he's saying, hey, to each his own interpretation. But from what I heard that man talk about was, and now he was talking about the NIL, and I think that's definitely an interesting topic that we should talk about on this show.
And that's why he's out of college, because now these boys are making money, so they don't have to listen to him no more.
But it's not. Yeah, but Jose, it's not about. But then again, and even the guys on the pivot, and I stand by. I agree with them wholeheartedly. This NIL stuff, and again, we could go into this topic, but this is just my quick take on it. The NIL, I don't disagree with players getting paid. Listen, they're putting their bodies at harm. They've worked almost all their lives for the most part, from Pop Warner, high school. They've gone through it all. But one thing that they mentioned with the NIL stuff, and I kind of agree with their point, is you're teaching these young men not to go through adversity. And what I mean by that is anytime there's some adversity going on now, the portal's open 2 times a year. So that means at any point in time, you could, throughout that time in the year, if you feel that shit's not going your way, you don't like your head coach, you don't like the way that things are going, you have the right to go somewhere else. And not only that, the main question anymore is not about your studies and going to college and getting a degree. The main question that these boys are asking is, how much are you going to pay me? And I get it. It's money. But there's no committee. It's a deregulated system right now. It's fucking the wild, wild west. And what they're saying is all you're creating is men that are going to come in, grow up, eventually men that are going to come into the NFL that don't have the backbone, that don't have that strong mentality to play with a team and get coached and be groomed into what an NFL player is. Because remember, we talk about these NFL players, man. You go through a lot. The career is not easy, and Yeah, that's what the take. What do you think about that? Do you think that the NIL stuff? What is your take on that?
I mean, I don't know much about it. I don't know about portals opening and like wizards coming through and like I don't
Wizards.
know space and portals and shit. I don't know about any of that. I don't know about no NIL. I don't know much to be able to speak on that. But it does give the players a little bit more power. You know, maybe too much power right now where they can just get up and go. I mean, once you commit to a school, you should be like, all right, you committed here, so you should sign some kind of contract, I guess. Now, it's going to be that. It's going to come to that. You know, where you got to sign a contract and you're here for the next 3 years until you go to NFL, I guess. I don't know, because it is wild. All right, I don't like my coach. You call me dumb. I'm leaving. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's ridiculous. You know,
and that's one of the things that that needs to get cleared up, right? Because, like you said, they don't like their coach. They don't like the way the coach is screaming at them.
I'm sure they'll clean it up, though. Like, you know,
I sure hope so, right?
NCAA is very powerful, man. They got plenty of money. I'm pretty sure they got some smart people
to figure it out, right?
Yeah. If I'm the one giving out all these ideas that I haven't thought of, man, y'all need to hire me yesterday, man, because shit.
100%. But one thing that Nick Saban was talking about that kind of was going into the Dolphins, right? He was talking about the time where you guys had Drew Brees, and he flew down specifically himself before anything, and he talked with the doctors that did the surgery with Drew Brees, and the doctor says he's good to go. And then he went through his physical with the Miami Dolphins, and the coaches and the doctors there failed him. He said he tried telling them, like, hey, listen, man, he's good. What do you? I don't want to do woulda, shoulda, couldas, but what would it have been like if you would have had Drew Brees? Do you think that would have been a difference?
I mean, come on. He became a Hall of Famer, and Culpepper became just another guy who was out the league in a few years after that. You know, and then he bounced around a little bit. Listen, but I will be 100% with you. I remember that day.
Ooh, tell me about it. Talk to me about that day.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I wanted Culpepper. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Oh shit, this guy.
I not want to lie to you, bro. I thought, and this is why I thought, right? I knew Culpepper was a big quarterback, and he was mobile. He wasn't a running quarterback, but he's mobile, right? And I figured, all right, but he could throw the ball. Granted, he had Randy Moss, Chris Carter, and all them boys, right? But it looked like he could sling the ball, right? All right, whatever. So I'm like, all right, you take his mobility away. I mean, it's just a knee. He'll be back. Maybe it might take away from his mobility a little bit, but he can still stand back there. He's a big guy. He's Ben Roethlisberger big, you know, and he can stand back there and throw the ball and take hits, blah, blah. So I'm like, give me that. Versus the small guy with the weak arm, and now he has a rotator cuff issue, a shoulder issue. I'm like, fuck, man, like little weak arm, bad shoulder. What if it's not good, blah, blah. Clearly, I was fucking wrong. God damn how wrong I was. That's why I don't get paid those kind of bucks. But listen, Nick Saban and the staff were thinking the same thing that I was thinking, so I'm not that dumb. Well, yeah, I guess we're both dumb. But yeah, no, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I wanted Culpepper, and then
Culpepper.
The rest is
history, man. The rest. But listen, I mean, if it adds any solace to you, any comfort. Yes, you would have had Drew Brees, but I also think and I believe that it takes a whole organization and the right coaching staff. Again, he went into Peyton's house. He went with Sean Payton, and again, the rest is history. But I think you never know what it would have turned out, even if he was who he was, right? But yeah, man, those were my takes, man. Anything else before any other topics you want to chat about? Anything else before we sign out for our people today?
No, we're good. I think we touched on a lot of good topics. I don't want to force anything or just start rambling and shit. But yeah, look out. Like I said, look out for the picks on Saturday morning, and definitely check us out here. Drop a like, comment, suit or no suit.
Suit or no suit. That's the comment, guys. So I'm your boy Bear Down Rick, alongside my boy Jay, the producer. Thank you guys for tuning in today's episode. We'll see you guys for the Super Bowl week.
All right, y'all.
Take care.